With so much change over the last number of months, it's probably unsurprising that a lot of people have come to us looking to purchase property outside of Dublin City and County and Cork City and County. So moving away from where they traditionally have worked in an office space. And so I was hoping just to discuss whether that's feasible in terms of mortgage finance, what the lenders look at, and what you may need to consider if you're thinking of moving outside of an area that's within a commutable distance to where your place of work is. So at the moment, the lender's consideration is always sustainability of income. So if you're looking to purchase and you're not within a commutable distance to your office location, so your traditional office location, regardless of the fact that in the short term or for the foreseeable future, you may be working remotely, the lenders will all want some consideration to be given to what your current status is in terms of whether you can work from home indefinitely, whether it's a commutable distance to your workplace, the proposed location of your new property. So in a lot of instances, what the lenders will look for is they look for a letter of confirmation from your employer that you can work remotely for the foreseeable future, and that it doesn't impact on the terms and conditions of your employment. If you can't get that, or if you're purchasing as a joint applicant and only one party can get that confirmation from their employer, but you want to relocate, say further than it is, 2-hour commute, okay? So further than the lender would deem to be sustainable to conduct that commute on a weekly basis, how does that impact? So if you can't get that letter to say you're within commutable distance, and perhaps you're in the type of role that will allow you to be on site, for example, engineers or architects on site on projects, or that you can, look and say, okay, well, I don't need to be in Dublin 5 days a week, but I do need to be in Dublin 3 days a week for meetings. How does that play out? So I suppose, again, what the lenders are looking to do is to see whether you can remain in your employment plus do that commute. So what we would always do for clients is look and say, okay, firstly, can we get anything from your employer to confirm that your location of work is possible to work from the location of a home location or a home office location for the vast majority of your time, and if that is possible, then that's clear. That's really clear for the lenders. They know that for the foreseeable future, or indefinitely preferably, that you can do that. If you can't, what we look to do for some of our clients is look and say, okay, well, if we do need to put a kind of a living allowance or an accommodation allowance to kind of rule out the fact that if you are commuting and it's not commutable distance, if you did need to stay in Dublin for a period of time during the week, how much would that cost you in terms of commitment, and input that into the calculators or into the figures that we're sending into the lender. So we're saying we don't have a letter to say that this person can work remotely, but if they did need to spend some period of time in Dublin, the cost of that would be X. And as long as we're factoring that in, that's a reasonable assumption then for the lender to say, okay, this person doesn't have full consent to work remotely, but if we do include that liability, there is the potential for them to rent for 2-3 days in Dublin during the week and commute the rest of the week. So that brings it to a more sustainable level. So really it's on a case-by-case basis. If you're looking to purchase outside of an area that's within commutable distance to your office space, the lenders will again look for some form of comfort, or at least look to see is sustainable, or how it could be sustainable by including a kind of a rental or living allowance potential for having to be in Dublin for a certain part of the week against that. So any queries in relation to remote working, or in relation to what requirements the lenders may have to take your income into account if you intend to apply while remaining in your existing role and your existing income being taken into account, then please do contact us at doddl.